And ladies and gentlemen, we are loading into the matchup right now, and away we go. It is go time. Down in the bottom right-hand corner here on Belshir Vestige is Xenocider as our red Terran player, and up in the top left-hand corner, Joe, could you be so kind as to introduce our friend?
I could. I definitely could. And the top left-hand corner is our up-and-coming player, ZergAssassin. And in the last game, ZergAssassin tried to do a 4-gate build and steal an easy win off of Xenocider, and it didn't quite work out for him. And at the end of that last game, ZergAssassin kind of recognizes it and goes, that really wasn't the best choice I could have made. So I'm expecting to see some sort of at least 2 base play out of ZergAssassin.
You know, this is kind of the interesting part. He's in the winner's bracket. He knows that he still has a couple more games if he goes to the loser's bracket. If he's unable to hold it together, maybe he tries the same build again. I'm hopeful he doesn't. I mean, for his sake, because of the fact that obviously Xenocider is very, very good at being able to hold against a 4-gate play. So hopefully he's recognized that. He's made a new decision, and he's going to try a different play. The probe is on the way out across the map. It is headed towards and is going to get on in. We do see the barracks just getting thrown down right this second. And we do see gas going down unbelievably quickly afterwards as well. So perhaps a Reaper as well. The same kind of play as last time out of Xenocider. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we should expect to see a Reaper out there as well.
Yeah, it could be a Reaper. It could also be a Factory. That is a much earlier gas than Xenocider got last time. But Xenocider did some tricky stuff with his gas. He put 3 on, got a Reaper, and then removed all SCVs from gas and macroed up right afterwards before adding guys back on. And so it could be maybe just he wanted more sustained Reaper production this time, getting it that early, or maybe he does want that Factory. It kind of remains to be seen. But in ZergAssassin's camp, he's just grabbing 2 gas. There's nothing particularly devious about what he's doing so far, and it looks to just be standard openers so far.
Yep, everything looking pretty good as it sits right now. He's populated the 1 gas. He throws down the cybernetic score. Things looking actually pretty nice. Populates the other gases as well very, very quickly. Certainly does not look like a 4-gate build this particular time around. I like to see that at the very least. Certainly will have a bit of a different play by ZergAssassin, and that will hopefully lend himself a victory. Right now he's down 1 game, so it's do or die time for him as far as his gameplay should be concerned. He's being scouted very, very thoroughly here by Xenocider, and with that SCV, who's going to work his way back. Down in Xenocider's base, we do have the Reaper out. It is headed across the map. It's going to continue to do some harass as well, and we do see a Stalker in production, and that should pop just about the same time as that Reaper does show up. It does get himself 1 kill and is going to continue on. So right now as it sits, ZergAssassin is aware there's a Reaper on the way. You can see him chrono boosting out that Stalker and get him in preparation for that Reaper's assault.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, there's not going to be any further Reapers beyond that one. That one is just there to get scouting information, and with that Stalker there to shoot it away, it's not going to get too much. But he sees what he expects, right? He sees a gate, a core, and 2 gas. But Xenocider back at home is doing the exact same build as the last one, only this time with a bunker up at the front by default. Either he sees something in ZergAssassin's base that he doesn't like, or he's saying, I'm up a game, I expect you to do something crazy and weird, and I'm just going to make a bunker to be safe.
Yep, a mothership core in production, but is somewhat supply blocked and has been delayed for a little bit of time. Nothing too major about it. It'd be nice to get it out a little bit sooner. Maybe do some harass with it. Another Stalker just popping out, and a Nexus going down as well by ZergAssassin. So a good start to this game by him. Obviously playing substantially more safe and not going for a risky 1-base play like a 4-gate. However, this Reaper is going to pop on up. And take a quick look. The mothership core does pop on out. Is going to be able to provide some kind of defense. And that Reaper, I think, is going to fall in the very, very near future. Yes, indeed, it is getting pinned by these Stalkers as well, and it is dead as nails. Meanwhile, back at Xenocider's base, we do have the orbital command being converted right now as it sits. It's going to float on over to that natural very, very soon. Another barracks is in production as well. Again, gas now getting taken as well, so we should expect to see him start to tech out and another barracks. So it's going to be a bio-heavy play, very similar to last game.
Yeah. And last game, he went for that 1-1 push, one bio armor, 1 bio weapons push against the Protoss base. And because of the opening that the Protoss player went for, he didn't have enough army and enough economy to really fend that off. I'm wondering if Xenocider this game is going to go for the same push, because this is the same framework for that last build. And I'm wondering if ZergAssassin has an answer for it, if he's going to cut any corners that might put him in danger to that push.
And that's true, and he does have a couple of stalkers here as well, the Mothership Core, to try and prevent that orbital command from being able to land. But I don't think this is a good choice. Mothership Core dropping, and that is not going to be good at all for ZergAssassin. He does keep both stalkers, which is somewhat a bit of a saving grace, I guess. He at least keeps those resources that he spent. However, the one stalker is horribly injured, down to 2 hit points of health, and it looks like an SCV is going to continue to scout on up, and Xenocider having another quick look to see whether or not his current build strategy is going to continue to be employed. He sees the Nexus, moves on up and into the main, sees that there is 3 gates and that there is a robo on the way, as well as a robo bay and another gateway. So again, it looks like the same thing as last game. ZergAssassin going with that 4 gate with a robo and getting the Colossus, so gateway units with Colossus. But this time around, he's not going to be so encumbered by the fact that he's going to be, well, I guess you could say, for lack of better terms, economy-wise blocked from being able to exact revenge, so to speak, in this match.
Yeah. And yeah, so far it does look like that last match's game. Xenocider's got his +1 armor coming up on his engineering bay. He's working on saturating his natural and getting some gases there. And Starport's about halfway down. Ooh, and Xenocider actually snipes an observer that walks kind of carelessly into his missile tower. And back at ZergAssassin's base, he's getting his first Colossus out. He's not researching extended thermal lance because he doesn't have the money for it yet. And he's just grabbing his 3rd gas. So kind of a lull in the action right now as both sides kind of get to their intended comfortable point of the game before they make too many more decisions.
Yeah, I think these Marines are going to move their way on up here, have a quick poke, see what they can do, maybe do a little bit of an early push. You know what? He knows that he's done a good scout. He knows there's not a lot of units on the map, and I think this force is actually big enough he can do a fair bit of damage. So that being said, Warp Gate has finished. 4 gates are done. Colossus is popping literally right now. If he's able to hold off for literally about a couple of seconds, he'll be in good shape. He does have a quick poke, takes a look. I think he sees what he likes. He sees the Colossus and realizes, I think, maybe not what he wants to see. No, and a decent force field, gets a kill. Doesn't really hold off too much. And Xenocider, again, poking back and forth, trying to see what he can do, trying to bait some kind of action out of ZergAssassin. Doesn't want to get involved with too much here because of the fact that there's a good ball of units here protecting that Colossus. And as you can see, he's just going to transition and head on back.
Yeah, that Colossus kind of scared him away. And now the extended thermal lance comes up from ZergAssassin. But interestingly, ZergAssassin is not getting more Colossus. He's holding off on it. And so usually we can see, like, there's no constant productions because he's on 2 base, he's got 2 forge, and he's just getting extended thermal lance. And usually you could see this sort of play if you wanted to do a very quick 1 Colossus into Templar tech in PvT. It's a very common Korean-esque build to do. You'll see it all the time in the Korean ladder. But it's there's no Templar tech behind this, so I'm curious to see what ZergAssassin's follow-up is going to be.
Well, right now there is a drop. There's actually a 2-pronged attack going on. There's a little bit of micro going on with some zealots out front. Meanwhile, there's a good-sized force, 2 medevacs worth, actually working away. And are they able to snipe the robotics bay? Yes, they do. They are able to get that before it is able to finish. Looks like they are going to try and engage some of the stalkers. Photon overcharge does go down, and it looks like a quick pickup, and they are going to hightail one of them. Unfortunately, one of the medevacs dies with a full load of units inside, and that will do it. But that being said, that extended thermal lance upgrade being shut down completely, and that is going to set back ZergAssassin quite a bit with regards to his ability to be able to enforce a lot more pain with these Colossus that he's been researching.
Yeah, and now that Xenocider knows what's going on in ZergAssassin's base, he sees that there's no real follow-up to the Colossus tech. He sees that ZergAssassin is going to stay on that tech for quite some time. He's adding on Vikings 2 at a time, and he actually delayed his armory and his second eBay a little bit. So his +2/2 timing is going to be a little bit less tight than he would have liked, but it's still all right. That drop gets blocked and parried nicely by ZergAssassin. But even so, this drop is not a waste of time for Xenocider. He's keeping ZergAssassin back at his base and letting Xenocider get his 3rd kind of morphed and ready to go.
Yep, indeed. Was able to snipe a Colossus in that, which was really, really good. Obviously, it's basically like a free pile of minerals that's been basically shut down completely. I mean, when you're shutting down 300, 200, and 200 gas, that's a victory in itself. Unfortunately, though, he did lose a medevac full of units in the process. So a bit of an even trade right there as it sits. Units lost tab. Let's just take a quick look. Sorry, I apologize. 32 units. It's about even as it sits right now. 24, 24, 100. You know, that's not too bad at all. It looks like they're just trading very efficiently with each other. Nobody's actually able to gain a lot here, but a third being taken very quickly here by ZergAssassin. 14 minutes. Okay, I know it's not super, super fast, but as the pace of this game has been going, both are taking their time, making the good decisions, and looks like it might actually get a quick cancel depending on how this goes down. A quick drop outside of that third, starting to focus fire down on the Nexus, as you can see, stimming and trying to get a cancel or a kill. Stalkers do ultimately show up. They're going to keep, no, it does get canceled, and a quick pickup, and away they go. So very successful shutdown on that third base by Xenocider. He must be quite pleased with that, especially when his is up and running.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely feeling happy about that. And look at his third base. It's instantly saturated with 22 workers plus mules. He's very happy about that. But really, ZergAssassin is kind of playing in the dark right now. He doesn't have very much of an idea of what's going on. He doesn't see any of the infrastructure or the upgrades. He doesn't know how many Vikings there are. He doesn't see the third base at all. And he's playing the best way that he can by he knows he has to take a risk and he's got to get this third up and continue playing. But he's playing from behind, especially with that cancellation.
Yeah, absolutely. He's playing blind as it sits right now. He's using gut instinct based upon his experiences, and I think they're serving him well. He's not lost a whole pile of units. This could have certainly be a lot worse for him. You can see him just continue to generate units, but it's not like he's picking a particular tech path or a strategy that he wants to employ to be able to counter. He doesn't know that there's Hellbats on the map right now. He's not been attacked with them. He doesn't know that there's a pile of Vikings flying around ready to shut down his Colossus. So he's not switched to Storm. He's not switched to Immortals or any other unit for that matter, maybe Dark Templar. We do have Templar archives up. It is researching Psionic Storm, but it is a good way out. It is literally a minute away, a little over a minute, in fact. So that is going to take some time. He does have some weapons upgrades, plus 2 weapons and armor being researched. So he's going to be good there. Ghosts are already on the way. You could just see that as it sits right now, Xenocider in control, and he's going to go and take down this third again.
Yeah, and this is a great position for Xenocider to be in, with those Vikings being able to shoot over kind of that neutral ground where nobody can walk, so he can get free pot shots off of those Colossus. Xenocider's got to back out of that choke, because that could be pretty bad. But he clears that up so that he has more surface to go against ZergAssassin's army. And here's the big engagement, and ZergAssassin is getting shredded by the Terran Bio.
No, absolutely. It's just getting decimated. The Vikings just going to town on the Colossus. Nice concave on the low ground. Force fields were basically rendered completely useless, and the Marauders and the Medevacs are just going to work on these Stalkers. They are ultimately going to fall, and this was a very, very large engagement that went exceedingly well for Xenocider, and there's really nothing to answer for it. ZergAssassin is just doing a quick warp in here of 3 more Stalkers, but I mean, unit counting, just taking a look at the units, he has 4 Stalkers and an Observer and 51 probes. Meanwhile, there's actually a decent force of, believe it, landed Vikings moving their way on forward, and there's enough here that they'll be able to shut this down very quickly. And I don't feel that ZergAssassin is going to be able to take a victory out of this particular map. Xenocider just going to work.
Yeah, and that's it. GG gets called, and Xenocider takes a very quick 2-0 in this series.
Yeah, I mean, this is just going back to, doing a lot of scouting. We saw that Xenocider was able to do a pile of scouting constant and just always looking, always poking, always prodding. I think a big one was being able to shut down the thermal lances that put back ZergAssassin quite a bit, because he wasn't able to really move out without the thermal lances, or at least I don't think he felt it. But a big one that ZergAssassin really didn't do too well, unfortunately, was be able to maintain constant scouting. And as a result of that, it wasn't able to really be aggressive and to push out, because he didn't know where his opponent was, and really what tech level his opponent was at, except for whatever engagements that he was able to encounter. What are your thoughts on the end of that match?
No, I pretty much agree with everything that you said. You've stolen my words. He didn't scout very well. In particular, I feel like ZergAssassin lacked observers. He didn't have observers patrolling any of the neutral space where air would be. He didn't wait to spot for incoming drops, and so he did quite a lot of damage drops Getting the extended thermal lance snipe was a big deal. Getting the third snipe by a drop was a big deal. And all of these little things that really could have been prevented by observers really came back and hurt him later on.
Yep.
And yeah, really, that's got to be the biggest thing I feel from that game.
Very unfortunate, but a 2-0 sweep, and just an absolutely phenomenal victory by Xenocider. Just great. He'll be moving on. I'm sure Evil Geniuses is very, very pleased with that. Moving on into round 2 of the winners bracket. Now, that doesn't mean that ZergAssassin is out. I mean, we have a losers bracket as well. He has a chance to get back into this, and in fact, he can actually go all the way to the finals if he plays unbelievably well in the losers bracket. He'll be moving on. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're going to throw a couple commercials up so to help pay the bills. But at the end of the day, we'll be back very, very soon with more StarCraft 2 action at MLG Spring Championship.